What am I saying? God gives us something that he wants us to do, whether it's to help someone, whether it's to help do something, whether it's to work on something, whether it's to work on ourselves, and things start to happen when God gives us a mission. What do I mean? The enemy comes at you. He tries to do things to change the situation. God's getting ready to bless you, so he's going to try to get in there to stop your blessing. It could be a matter of family. It could be a matter of friends. It could be a matter of loved ones, because everybody ain't happy for what God is about to do in your life. You may think they on your side because they laughing and skinning and grinning with you, but a lot of them are plotting to take what it is that God has for you. A lot of them are plotting to set you up to stop the blessing that God is about to give you. A lot of them ain't happy to see what God is doing in your life. So in the middle of God getting ready to bless you and sending you out there to get that blessing, things start to happen. What starts to happen? Things start to change. People start to change. Stuff starts to change. Situations start to change. You know, God done bless you, and they start to see the blessing. The first thing they want to say is, oh, you think you all that. Why do I think I'm all that? Because I moved out of that season and went to another season. God brought me out of another season. I ain't going back to where he brought me from if he's taking me to somewhere else. You may think I think I'm all that. You may want to talk about me and say stuff about me, but God done brought me out of that mess and sent me into something else. And when he does that, it's my job to walk into what God has to get me. If you ain't able to go with me, that's your fault. If you get stuck behind, that's your fault, because God is God. And when he tells me to go, I got to go. What does that mean? That means you got to leave some people behind. Everybody ain't meant to go with you when you're going. Every season you in ain't meant for everybody. And you know how we are. We faithful to our friends. We faithful to people. So the first thing we say is, I'm taking everybody with me. I ain't leaving them behind. I ain't leaving. They my people. They came with me and they started with me. Well, they not might be spiritually where you at right now. And God is getting ready to elevate you. And sometimes you can miss out on your blessings trying to stick with everybody else. If God is telling you to go higher, your job is to go higher. If God is telling you to go left, if everybody else chooses to go right, your job is to go right. Left. God wants you to do something. Your job is to do it. We look at this scripture. The first thing we see is there's a group of son of prophets who had been elevated. What do I mean by elevated? The scripture says that it had outgrew where they were worshiping at, which means God had added on. God had promoted. God had blessed. And now they've outgrown where they were. So he gives them an assignment to go out and build a bigger building. But how many of you know when God blesses you and assigns you to do something, everybody ain't happy? It's some folks that's sitting there waiting on your downfall. It's some folks right there in your corner waiting on your demise. But let me tell you something. When God gives you an assignment, he's going to go with you all the way through the end. It don't matter who leave you. It don't matter who turn their back on you. It don't matter who walk out on you. When God gives you an assignment, it's your job to do it. But I want you to know you ain't going by yourself. He's with you every step of the way. So God tells them, y'all go out there to Jordan and get some timber. I want y'all to build another building. In building the building, a miracle happens. You know how it is when you get caught up. You know how it is when you're working. Sometimes you get so caught up in your work, you ain't paying attention to what you're doing. It's been times in my life, I've been so caught up God, I'll be about to wreck my car driving down the road. I'm so busy praying and singing, I ain't even looking at the cars on the other side of me. I'm so busy worshiping God, I ain't paying attention to nothing that's around. I'm all around danger, but I'm so focused on God, he's protecting me and he's keeping me. I'm so focused on his word that no matter, it could have been bad, but he made sure it wasn't. If so focused on his word, they came to harm me, but he made sure they didn't. I'm so focused on him, it could have been bad, but God did it for my good. What I'm saying is they were out there working, and all of a sudden, one of the workers' axe falls apart. This is what got me. He was worried about the axe. So I asked myself, I said, why is he so worried about materialistic things? Well, here's the deal. He had borrowed the axe from somebody. And church folks, y'all know how it is when y'all borrow stuff from folks. You know how it go. They watch you the whole time. You still working. They still, you done with that yet? You still trying to, you done yet? Hey, you better make sure it come back like it come. Because folks are so caught up on materialistic stuff that they forget they can be a blessing in your life. You didn't catch that. It's folks so busy worried about items that they forget that they blessing you. Sometimes you can bless a person and say, don't worry about it. And God will bless you even because of the way you did it. But a lot of folks give you stuff with the intent to get stuff in return. So I was wondering, I said, well, why is he so worried about the axe? He was worried because he borrowed it. And folks, you know how it is when we borrow stuff. You never hear the end of it. You can borrow $10 and pay them back $20, and they still gonna remind you, you know you borrowed that $10 from me. What I'm saying is everybody ain't here to bless you. Some people are here to hurt you. So I asked myself, why was he so worried about the axe? Worried because he had borrowed it. Then you hear him cry out, oh my Lord, it was borrowed. But God was not finished with him. He performed a miracle that very moment. The same axe head that had fell off and floated in the water, he reached out and he recovered it. Well, let me explain something to you. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of us have been fishing, a lot of us have been by water. Anytime you throw something heavy in water, it goes down to the bottom. Some of us, like me, can't swim, so we ain't going in there to find it. It's lost. Soon as it get in that water, it's lost. So what we do is we charge it to the game. So what I'm telling you is he could have easily let it go in the water and finish doing his job, but he needed the tool to be able to finish what he started. Well, let me tell you something about God. God will give you stuff because he know you need it. The enemy will break it, destroy it, kill it, but God's still around to fix it because he know you need it. What God gives you is yours. What folks give you is theirs. So what I'm saying was the fact that God blessed him, we knew that God was going to be somewhere in the picture. I want to tell you the same thing about your life. When God gives you something, just know he's in the picture. They may try to take it from you. They may try to rob you of it. They may try to get it from you. But if God gave it to you, it's for you. What God has for me is for me, and what he has for you is for you. Why did I make that a point? You ain't got to worry about somebody taking your blessing. You earned it. And when you earn something with God, it's yours. So no matter how I try to take it from you, no matter how I try to take that job God gave you, no matter how I try to take the house that God gave you, no matter how I try to take the car that God gave you, no matter how I try to take the man or the woman that God gave you, if God gave it to you, it's for you. What I'm saying is you ain't got to walk around being overprotective of what God gave you because it's yours. I ain't got to hate on nobody. Because whatever they got, if God want me to have it, he going to give it to me. So when folks hating on you, you ain't got to defend yourself. Just say God gave it and he ain't going to take it. You ain't got to argue, fuss, and fight with him. All you got to do is remember who you got it from. And that blessing that you got is your blessing. So the axe falls in the water. This man cries out, oh, Lord, I done lost my axe. I ask myself, why am I crying? You know how it is when you borrow stuff from folks. You want to give it back to them just how they gave it to you. If not, your name going to be all over Shreveport Bossier. Yeah, you give her stuff, she don't bring your stuff back. You let her hold something, she don't want to. They don't care that things happen. Because there's sometimes stuff happen in your life that reflects what the outcome is, but they don't even matter. It don't matter if somebody gave you something and somebody else stole it. All they worried about is if they gave it to you. But God has a way of fixing situations even when the enemy wants to slanderize you, talk about you, and backbite you, and talk about how bad you are. If God is in the middle of it, the devil can't do nothing to stop it. So I can imagine he was nervous because he borrowed it. But look at God. Sometimes when we take God out of situations, he's going to fix it already. He just wants us to bring it to him. You ain't catch it. He's already going to fix it. He just wants to know, do you trust him enough to give it to him? Think about that problem that you're wrestling with. You still wrestling with it because you won't give it to God. How do I know you won't give it to God? Because my God is a provider. My God is a healer. My God is a deliverer. And if you're dealing with something and he ain't doing it, it's because you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. Because everything I've given to him, he's fixed. Everything now he may not fix it when I want him to fix it, because it's a lesson I got to learn, but I know he's going to fix it. And some of us sitting out there right now wrestling with stuff that we can easily give to him and he can easily fix it, but he's waiting on us to give it to him. So he calls out and says that his axe had been broken. Then we see the miracle. Elijah. And mind you, Elijah's there because he was invited. Sometimes the people you're trying to cut off are the same people God want with you. You ain't catch that. Sometimes the people you trying to shut down are the same folks God want on your side. Yeah. That mama that you claim ain't never done for you in your life and ain't never did this and ain't never been there and I ain't finna do nothing for her. God still wants you around because at some point y'all gonna need each other. And you got to learn to forgive whatever happened. You got to learn to let go of whatever happened and listen to God. If God tell you to keep her on your side, keep her on your side. That daddy that had you sitting on the curb every Saturday waiting on to come pick you up and you still mad at that 30 years later and God has picked you up every day. He's picked you up because he wants you to know that he's a God. And at that point, you got to let that stuff go. At some point, you got to forgive that person and move on. It don't matter if he made you wait for 20 years. On the 21st year, if he show up, you still love him. You got to love him because God said you got to love him. We got to learn to let stuff go. Holding on to grudges for 40 years. We got families that don't talk to each other for some the grandma and the great-grandma did. I wasn't around at that time. I'm finna go talk to my cousin. I don't care if y'all don't like it or y'all like it. What I'm telling you is generational curses will hurt us. If I wasn't there when they was fighting, why I'm still talking about it? You better hear me, church. If I wasn't there when they were shooting at each other, it ain't got nothing to do with me. So I'm not finna be mad and not talking to my family because somebody else saying, y'all got to deal with that. Y'all got to pay account for that. Because once I get up there, he ain't going to tell me you ain't getting in because you never talked to your cousin. I'm going through the door. And whatever I got to do to go through the door, whoever I got to forgive to get through the door, I'm going to do it because that's my job. So he performs the miracle. He brings the axe back. But this is what I want y'all to get. He didn't bring the axe back for us to say he performed the miracle. He brought the axe back because there was still work that needed to be done. Somebody should have been jumping right there. Because there's some things that still need to be done that God done sent you to do, and you done pause because of all the other stuff that's going on. What I'm telling you is once you get over that hurdle, once you get over that hurt, once you get over that hump, once you get over how they did you wrong, you still got to complete the assignment. And a lot of us have given up on the assignment because there's something that happened. But I want you to understand, we serve a God who does the impossible. And because he does the impossible, it's nothing too hard for him. So that same person that hurt you, if he tells you to forgive him, your job is to forgive. When you look at this scripture, there's still work to do. The first thing you see is you got to understand is don't let what you lost stop the work. That's your first point. Don't let what you lost stop the work. First thing Elijah asked him is, he said, where did it fall? The worker had lost the axe head, and without the iron, the work couldn't be done. Now, mind you, it probably could have, but it would have took longer than it normally does. So what do I want you to get out of that? Give it to God. Why are you trying to figure it out yourself? While you trying to figure it out, he could have already worked it out. And because he could have already worked it out, you over here trying to do it yourself When you serve a God who does everything, and because he can do everything, while I'm staying up at night worrying about what you doing, while I'm staying up at night worrying about what folks saying, while I'm staying up at night worrying about how I'm going to pay this bill, my job is to give it to him. Here's the deal, folks. It ain't no surprise. He already know you need it. He just want to know, are you going to give it to me, or are you going to try to do it yourself? If you're going to try to do it yourself, I'm not going to get in the middle, because I've learned God don't bless no mess. And if I'm trying to do it myself, it's some mess. So I got to give it to him and let him do it, and he'll bless it. And a lot of times we sit in the wilderness longer than we should because we won't turn it over to God. He cried out. Now, mind you, the worker could have been like some of us. He could have lost it in the water and said, uh-oh, it's gone. I ain't going to worry about it. Y'all know how folks do, y'all. Got your stuff, borrowed your stuff, lost your stuff, and ain't said nothing. And here you is waiting on them to come back. Never forget, let somebody borrow my dolly. Gave them my dolly, let them hold it. They moving, then moved, got done moving, and then left my dolly where they was. Now here I am getting ready to move. Pick up the phone and call them. Hey, cuz, where my dolly at? What dolly? You know what dolly I'm talking about. The dolly I gave you. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, cuz I ain't got no. You got the dolly. I gave you the dolly. And now you're going to act like you don't. And that's how folks will do you. Folks will have your stuff, borrow your stuff. It be times, and folks, tell me if I'm wrong, you will go to somebody's house. They done borrow something from you. You see it. You ask them, hey, what happened to that I gave you? What you talking about? You know, the one I let you, I don't know what you're talking about. Girl, I got it from Montgomery Ward 20 years ago. No, you didn't. You got it from me. But that's how folks will do you. They'll take your stuff and act like it's theirs. Or they'll lose your stuff and won't say nothing. So I'm glad that he cried out, because he understood he had lost something that belonged to someone else. Also, he understood, if I don't have what I need, I'm not going to be able to finish the job. And a lot of us don't finish the job because we don't have what we need. Sometimes in the church, we lose some things and we never go back and find them. Sometimes in the church, we lose things along the way. Sometimes we lose members. Sometimes we lose resources. Sometimes we lose opportunities. And sometimes we lose the excitement that we had in the word. But because we've lost it doesn't mean God has canceled the assignment. Just because I lost it don't mean it ain't no work to do. And you know how it is. We got jobs. We got lazy people. I hate to say it. But they'll go lose it so they ain't got to do the job. You know how it is. Now, I know we had this broom, this dustpan, and this mop yesterday. I know when I was here last night and I was closing the building down, everything was in place. Mighty funny, I come back today and it's missing. It's missing because we didn't want to do the job. But I'm glad that he cried out and understood, even though it's missing, I'm going to need it to complete what I need to complete. Because here's the deal. God done already multiplied. God then already gave him the resources to get to build the building. Now it's up to us to do our work. And a lot of us lose stuff so we don't have to do our work. Teachers, I ain't got no Sunday school book. I can't teach Sunday school because I ain't got no book. Knowing we gave you a book with your name on it, you lost it. And contrary to popular belief, the same thing in the book is in the Bible. You think you slick saying you ain't got no book, not understanding everything in the book in the Bible. So if you ain't got the book, you got the Bible, so you can still do your job. God has a way of helping us. God has a way of making sure it's plain. Before we got the technology, we was able to do it. Before I got a computer, I had a notebook and a pad. Before I got the calculator, I had a pencil. Before I got the pencil, I had a crayon, a color pencil. I had a way of doing the job, but we've gotten so caught up in technology that we forgot God is still God. We forgot what Grandma said, where there's a will, there's a way. And we got to understand in our spiritual lives, where there's a will, there is a way. Maybe some people who started with you aren't with you anymore, but you're still here. You still here. You still here. You may have lost some people on the way, but that don't mean the assignment stops. If we on a mission to grow, if we on a mission to be blessed, if we on a mission to go to higher heights, and everybody don't make it, that don't mean we don't go to high heights. That's why I'm glad that God gives the blessings. That's why I'm glad that God gives the assignments and not man. Because if man gave you the assignment, a lot of stuff they send you out there to do, you'll never be able to do it. A lot of them make it hard because they think you can't do it. But God is a God of impossible, and whatever they think you can do it with God. You may not be able to finish with them, but you can finish with him. So you got to understand the assignment still has to be done. The second thing I want you to understand is trust God to restore what the work requires. Trust God to restore. Think about it. In order for them to be able to cut the trees, they had to have the axe. They lost the axe. So now, in our minds, the job quits. You know how it is. We working, something break. Oh, time to go home. Time to go to lunch. Oh, the machine cut off. Oh, the machine broke. The power out. Oh, we got to shut it down. But God restores when you trust in him. You know how it is. You've been in a situation. Things looking bad. Things ain't looking good. We'll use work as an example. Everything's shut off. They want you to go home. Well, you know you need these 8 hours to be able to pay your bills. They telling you clock out and go home, and all of a sudden when you get ready to hit that clock, the lights come back on. God knows what you need. They may want to go for a break, and I tell them, y'all go, but I'm staying because I know what I need, and I know what God asked me to do. And if God says he's going to provide, I got to do my part. I can't give up when everybody else give up. I can't quit when everybody quit. I got to keep because I have a mission to complete. So God will restore what it requires to do the job. Think about this. The man lost the axe head in the water. Elijah breaks a stick, takes that stick, throw it in the water, and now the axe head begins to float. Take yourself, go down there to Cross Lake, and I ain't want you to take an axe head. Take a penny and throw that penny in Cross Lake and see if that penny gonna float. That penny's going down to the bottom. But because God is good and God knew what they needed, he gave them resources. So he gave them a stick that was able to float an axe so that the axe would come back to where it needed to be. And there's some sticks in your life that God done gave you that will help you get the axe, but you so worried about what it looks like. You so worried about how it feels. You so worried about what people gonna think that you don't use your resources to get what God has for you. You so worried about folks calling you a beggar. God done told you to go ask them and you don't want to ask. You so worried about your pride, folks trying to give you a pat on your shoulder for doing good and you don't even want to take it. You so worried about your image, your enemy that came up that God had made your footstool to bless you, and you walk away from the blessing because you worried about something that happened 6 months ago. You so worried about the wrong thing when you need to worry about what God is doing in your life. Sometimes God uses the obvious to bless you. What you think he can't bless you with, he can. What you think he can't feed you with, he can. God fed people with a bird. If he can feed people with a bird, he can feed me with a human. So I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't care for me. If God told me to go ask you, I'm going to ask you. If God told me to go get it from you, I'm going to get it from you. Think about the woman with the oil. If she'd have been worried about who she got the pots from, she wouldn't have had enough oil. But the fact that she went to everybody like God said, she got enough oil to be able to take care of her debt and feed her family for the rest of her life. Well, God has got some things things in your life that he's ready to give you, but you worried about who they coming from. God can use anybody to bless you. It don't matter if you like them or not. This is what he does. He gives you the resources. And a lot of times he does that to test you. He wants to know if you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And sometimes we pass the test, and sometimes we fail the test. And I didn't say, I said test. It's a difference. God will allow things to happen that we think are impossible. The last thing I want you to see, and I'm going to my seat, he tells them to pick up and get back to work. That's the point I want you to get. The axe had fell in the water. Now Elijah threw the stick in the water. Now, mind you, this is a metal axe floating on water that's floating back. But this is what I like about it. Elijah didn't go get the axe himself, even though he performed the miracle. I said that to say this. When God allows you to bless somebody, you ain't got to put your name on the marquee. You ain't catch that. That's why folks scared to ask you for something, because everybody in Shreveport and Bossier going to know when you give it to them. That's why folks scared to ask you to bless them, because you give it to them with the intent of letting everybody know, oh, she came to me big in last week. Now she thinks she all that. What I like about it is Elijah didn't go get it and say, look what I did. He said, you go out there and get it. It's yours. It was meant for you. You go get it. And that's how we got to be, church. When we bless somebody, every time we bless them, we ain't got to look for something in return. What we need to tell them is, now you go bless somebody else. And if we do that, blessing continue to flow. God's going to bless you for what you did. I don't need the world blessing me for everything I've done. I don't need the world praising me for everything God allowed me to do. What I need you to do is continue to do what I just did. And a lot of us won't bless people because they don't tell everybody what we did. You better start blessing folks when God tell you to bless them. I don't care if you ain't got but 20. If he tell you to give them 10, give them 10. Because what he's going to do is he's going to bless you and yours is going to multiply. But we cut our blessings short over pride. I like that, the fact that Elijah didn't say, I'm going to go get it and brag about it. He didn't go get it and talk about him for losing it. He said, now you go pick it up. What that means? That means to me, he didn't want everybody to know what he had done. The only people need to know is you and the person you helped. The whole world don't need to know what you've done. Church, everybody don't need to know what you're doing. Keep folks out your business. Let me tell you something. A lot of us always saying, man, everybody always looking for me for something. Everybody always thinking I got something. You know why? Because you keep telling them you got it. You got to tell them everything you did for everybody else. So now they're like, well, if you're doing it for them, do it for me too. So you got to start keeping some stuff to yourself. A lot of your blessings is for you and the Lord. It ain't for everybody to know. Folks don't need to know where you get your stuff from. Folks don't need to know where you buy your stuff at. A lot of things that God does for you is for you and you only. It ain't for you to tell everybody. It ain't for you to show everybody. But we so bad wanting everybody to know, but then get mad when somebody else asks. Folks use you because you allow them to. How they know you got it? Because you told. If you wouldn't have told, you wouldn't have known. Pick it up and get back to work. That's the second part. After he picked it up, God done blessed him. Now it's time to go back and finish the assignment. You got to finish the job. God didn't perform that miracle for you to put it in your pocket. He performed that miracle for you to go back and finish what he started. And a lot of us don't finish the race because the moment we get that blessing, we stop. You ain't catch it. Get the new car, stop coming to church. We get the new house, stop paying tithes. We get the new clothes, stop going to church. We get blessed, stop going to Sunday school. What you got to do is you got to act like you ain't got it sometimes so you can keep having it. It ain't contrary to popular belief that you got it because God blessed you with it. But when he blesses you, you got to continue to work. And a lot of us stop working once we reach our peak. But that ain't your peak because there's more to do. When God blesses you, he tells you to go. When you go, now you got to help somebody else. You can't keep everything to yourself. I'm going to tell you something. When you leave this earth, don't nothing follow you behind that hearse but crying family members. My thing is, why you don't want to help them? You want to keep all this stuff that somebody gonna take from you. I ain't never seen a U-Haul at a funeral home. All I see was mourning family members, and them the same ones you treated wrong. Them the same ones you talked about. Them the same ones you didn't help. But when you leave here, you can't take none of that stuff with you. So you might as well share it while you got it. And God will continue to bless you because you bless other people. Don't keep everything to yourself. There's still work to do. And a lot of us right now are stuck where we are because God didn't perform the miracle in our lives and we didn't finish the assignment. Folks, there's work still got to be done. You may be where you're supposed to be spiritually, but you got to help somebody else. The only way this thing gonna work, we got to spread it. Let me tell you something. I ain't where I am today if it wasn't for my mom and my grandmama praying for me. So what I'm telling you is my grandmother's dead and gone, and some of her prayers God is still answering in my life. So that means now I got to send some prayers out in some other people's lives. My dad is dead and gone, and I'm still getting some of the blessings that God has saved for me from him. And I got to share them with somebody else. What I'm saying is the work don't stop. We got to continue to go. We got to continue to grow. A lot of us don't grow because we don't water what God has given us. Can plant the seed, but he got to water it. And he ain't watering it because we ain't planting it. If you plant it, he'll water it and it'll grow. Which means let go of everything that's holding you back. Let it go. Them people that hurt you, let it go. Them people that lied on you, let it go. Them people that talked about you, let it go. Them people who tried to harm you, let it go. You holding on to things that's keeping you from getting closer to God, and they study getting blessed. Why they study getting blessed? They didn't hurt you, and they didn't ask for forgiveness, and they didn't let it go. You holding on to the grudge. You ask yourself, well, how they did it to me, and they doing better than me? They doing better than you because they asked for forgiveness, and God forgave them. You still holding on to the grudge. You still holding on to the problem. You still making it a situation. You need to look at them people and act like they ain't never did nothing to you. And watch what God does in your life. And when you do that, things will be so much better. You got to finish the assignment. It's folks out there that know what triggers you, know what hurts you, and they continue to play on it. They walk around in your face and smile like they ain't doing nothing. Well, let me tell you, stop letting them know what hurt you. Stop letting them know what trigger you. If your kids trigger you, you ain't got to keep saying, well, you know, don't play with my kids. You ain't got to tell them. Because when they get ready to get you, what they going to do? Play with your kids. Stop giving people an open invitation to your life. That's between you and God. And when he blesses you, you can't let the blessing stop right there. There's still work to do. Until you leave this earth, you're going to have work to do. Your assignment is to keep spreading the word of God till you close your eyes. That will determine what happens when you close your eyes. Remember that. What you do here affects what happens in the afterlife. And you're going to have to answer for everything that you did that wasn't Christ-like. So my answer to you is do it right the first time. That way when God gets you to that point, you're able to cross over with no problems. But holding grudges, not letting stuff go. A lot of us are in hurt right now because we won't let go of the hurt. If somebody hurts you, let it go. Forget about it. Don't go, well, I always remember, but I never forget. You got to let that stuff go. God is wanting to use you, but he can't use you because he got so much other stuff in the way blocking it. Let him get into your heart. And once he does that, watch how your life changes. He's ready to elevate you. He didn't already wrote it out. He's just waiting on you to give it to him so he can fix it. I can't fix nothing he don't want me to fix. I can't get nothing he don't want me to get. But I got to remember there's always work to do. The doors of the church are open.